Hey there, everybody. Um, I was just informed earlier today that my son was talking to talking to some of his friends, and if you know who you are and you subscribe to me, I greatly appreciate that. Um, I don't like doing videos, but I like to give people motivation and make them feel more confident in themselves and help them, we're on this thing we call life. There are going to be times in your life where you're not going to be 100% agreeing with everybody and everything in this world, of course. You know, even me with my children, we do have our ups and downs. Parents, you if you're a parent, Um, it's a learning process. You're never not going to stop learning. You're going to be constantly, being tested and tried, and your patience is going to just eventually just want to just you can't handle it, and you just want to scream and shout and everything. And I do gotta say though, I have two wonderful children that are absolutely amazing people. I know they're going to do great things in life, and whenever they find their footing in life, they're going to be great. And it's not all what I have taught them to do or anybody else. It's parents and teachers and other adults can only guide children and show them what is right and what is wrong, and then it's really in their hands. I personally, I've had to learn from my actions, and I'm eternally grateful to the parents that I have. Even though my father passed away in 2008, 2 weeks before my oldest turned 2, that was very difficult. That was a trying process on me, where I had to be there for my mom, physically, emotionally, and just be there for her. And then we had to eventually move her out of her house because she couldn't keep up with the upkeeps of it and everything. And sometimes you think you don't want to let go of something, like you're so passionate about something, or have some really deep meaning in your life, and you're like, I don't want to give that up. Why should I have to give that up? My husband, I'm speaking on behalf of my mother. My mom was gifted the house that my dad bought for a wedding gift. It was hard to let go of it, but sometimes you just have to admit when you can't handle things, and then there's a time where you have to let go. But when she was at the house that she was at, she didn't have many visitors or anything, but now where she's in an apartment now, and she's making a lot of friends, and it just makes me very happy to know how blessed my mom is. And I had to learn myself, as me being a parent, that not everything is going to go as planned. And unfortunately, I got divorced, but truly what it is you gotta know your strengths. And you have to know when it's time to say, I've had enough. I have a great man that I've been with for 6 years, and he has been nothing but supportive. He has never once abused the children. He's never once abused me. He loves animals, just like the kids and I do. We absolutely love animals. We will rescue any kind of animal that is that is hurt, and we'll try to make them feel better and, heal them. And if they are like wildlife, we'll try to, incorporate them back into the wildlife. If not, we try to find people to adopt them. If we can't, then we keep them and we give them a good life as best as we can. And now I know sometimes people say that people with disabilities are damaged goods. I gotta say this though. I have disabilities, which I will not name, because I have so many, but both my kids have disabilities. But here's the thing. You learn from your mistakes. And if you have a good support system, like your family, your friends, other people, you will make it through this thing we call life. Being in relationships and stuff like that, you're never going to have a perfect relationship. There's always going to be something or other that's going to go wrong or something like that. But you have to tell yourself, okay, this didn't work. I'm not failing. I learned from the situation and I move on. Whenever you feel down, it's just one of those things that you just gotta pick yourself back up and dust yourself off and try again. Like some people have depression, some people have anxiety, some people have PTSD, some people have numerous things that can affect everyday life. But you can't dwell on the negative. If you have any of these issues, autism, ADHD, cerebral palsy, anemia, whatever the case may be. I am a firm believer in therapists. I know there's some therapists out there that are not wouldn't be the type that I would recommend, but it comes down to this. You have to find the perfect therapist that listens to you and not tell you what to do or how to do things, but gives you encouragement, gives you more, can empathize with you and give you structure, but at the same time being the kind of person that is, loves their job, and you can see it. It's just, if people think that they don't need help, like going to therapy, like if you have a drug problem, you have a criminal record, or whatever. Back when I was younger, before I had my oldest, I wanted to go to college to be a criminal investigation psychologist. In simple terms, I wanted to be a therapist for the inmates in the jail. Because my logical mind was saying, well, if they have a good therapist in the jail system that is willing to listen to them and not judge them and give them structured advice and not tear them down because of what they've done and everything, I felt like that would give them a better chance in succeeding in the outside world. But unfortunately, I went to college and I got pregnant with my oldest. My oldest wasn't expected, but, no baby is, but they are truly blessings. My son came 6.5 weeks early, 4 pounds 8 ounces, 18 quarter inches. They said that he wouldn't survive birth. Okay, he won't survive a day. He won't survive a week. Okay, a month. A year. He won't graduate. He'll never get a job. He'll never live on his own. My son has gone beyond all those negativities, and he is thriving. And I mean thriving. He is a star. I am so proud of him, and I know that he's gonna do great one day. And after I had my son, I wanted to go back to college and finish my education and go into the career I wanted to be. But unfortunately, I got pregnant again. I had my daughter, and I was a high-risk pregnancy, so they basically had me on bed rest for 2 months. My daughter came 28 days early for her due date, and when I went to the hospital, she was born at 7 pounds, 14 and a half ounces, 21 and a half inches long. Both my children had a full head of hair, and I just knew after that I wasn't going to be able to finish college. So I decided to devote myself to raising my children, making sure that they have a good life and everything. Yes, we've had our ups and downs and everything like that, but that's the way life is. Life is never going to be perfect. Never. Even if you're as rich as can be or as popular as can be, like Lady Gaga or, I don't know, Billie Eilish or any of these famous people, Eminem, Marshall Mathers, it doesn't matter. It's what's in you that you know that you can do. And after I had my daughter, I decided that I'm not going to go back to college. My new goal was to be a mother, learn from my mistakes, and try to give them the best life they could possibly have. Now, I don't know what their perspectives are now. They're 20 and 16-year-olds. So, but I'm just hoping one day that they'll see this and then they'll know that I gave up everything. And I wanted to make sure that they had the life they deserved. So, there's going to be trial and error in your life. But don't dwell on the error part. Go for the gold. Like if you are passionate about something, like I was passionate about karate. Unfortunately, I can't do karate anymore. But I did make it up to one goal that I did want to make, because I was one step away from being black belt before COVID hit. But I'm thankful to my teachers. I'm thankful to my classmates. And I'm thankful for everybody who supported me along the journey. And if you really think about it, who do you have on your side? Who's supporting you? I may not know half the people that are watching these little videos of mine, but I want to say you do mean something to me. And you do matter. Life's not always going to be perfect, but if you ever feel like you're going down that hole again and you don't know why you're alive or whatever, you can watch these little videos. And I try to make motivational videos about things that I see in my own life, and maybe I can encourage others to do things that they don't realize they can really do. Try it. If it doesn't work, all right, that wasn't gonna work for you, try something new. Life never stops, and you have people on your side. And if you feel like you're gonna get in a rut and stuff like that, reach out to somebody. Reach out to your best friend. Reach out to a parent. Reach out to an adult. Anybody. You're not alone in this. So, I hope this video helps you in some way or another. So, with that, I will say good night, and until the next video, stay safe.